My name is Manoj Acharya and I'm a current PhD student at the Rochester Institute of Technology in Rochester, New York. Today, I'm pleased to present our paper, RODEO, Replay for Online Object Detection. Recently, we have seen much progress in object detection. However, these batch object detection methods cannot perform updates as soon as new data is available. That is, they cannot learn incrementally. This is not suitable for dynamic scenarios where data evolve or change over time due to different seasons or backgrounds or even appearance of new object categories. For example, in the image in the right, you can see that the variation can occur based on the time of the day, or even changes could occur in the environment over long periods of time. Smart artificial agents need to overcome these limitations, and it's needed for various applications such as robotics, home appliances, web agents, or automatic speech recognition. It is clear that incremental learning allows model to adapt with changing data. Current approach for incremental object detection uses distillation as the main model. However, this comes with caveats. It needs to update on huge batches of data, and it's very slow to train and does not allow immediate learning. One solution to this is online streaming learning, which also has its own challenges, such as catastrophic forgetting if the data is not IID. So catastrophic forgetting is the phenomenon which causes the network to completely and abruptly forget previously learned information upon learning new information. So what is online streaming learning? In online streaming learning, the learning model receives instances incrementally one at a time and only gets to perform a single pass through the entire dataset. Compared to batch learning, for example, where all the instances are seen in the same time step t, in streaming learning, for example, it's shown in the picture, you can see the different instances in different time steps. So the main features of online streaming learning is it is more closer to human learning, and it also allows immediate learning, which is better suited for real-time applications. Here we present rodeo. Just like in a real rodeo sport, we want our model to be dynamic and be able to quickly handle changes in the scenes. There are two key ideas behind rodeo. The first is that we store compressed representations from intermediate layers for replay using tensor quantization. The motivation behind this is hippocampal indexing theory, which states that in mammalian brain, the hippocampus stores compressed representation of neocortical activity patterns, which are reactivated during replay. The second key idea is we control the stability versus plasticity by freezing parts of the model. The motivation behind this is that in our brain, the general representation of the world remains almost constant, and we only update our task-specific knowledge. This image shows a traditional object detection model, which is a fast RCNN model using S-box proposals. This is a rodeo model. Right away, you can see that our model is split into two portions, Z and F, where Z is fixed throughout the training process and F is the only trainable portion of the model. You can also see the replay component, where the features from Z are fed to train the PQ model, and the features are reconstructed during the replay and are fed back to F during the training stage. So what is the idea behind replay? Recently, replay has been shown to be an effective measure to mitigate forgetting. The key ideas behind replay is that we store previous examples in a buffer, and then we mix new instances with the old ones and fine-tune the model. A naive replay approach would be to store n raw examples per class in a buffer. However, there are caveats with this approach, in that storing raw pixel images is not biologically plausible, and it's also not clearly defined for object detection. So instead, in rodeo, Our approach is to store quantized representation, which is also much more memory efficient to store. So how is RODEO trained? First, we train the object detection model offline on few images for base unit. In this, we also train the PQ model on the mid-level CNN feature maps, and we also initialize the replay buffer. Then we pass the images through frozen layers of Z. We then quantize feature maps that we get from Z and store all the indices. Then we reconstruct N samples from the buffer during replay and mix it with the current reconstructed sample. Then we use this to train the plastic layers of F. Now let's talk about some experimental results. We evaluate all the models on two famous object detection datasets, COCO and VOC. For COCO, we can see that RODEO achieves state-of-the-art results compared to all other baseline models. In this paper, we also introduce a new baseline, which is a streaming version of LDA or linear discriminant analysis. Since we also perform streaming regression, we call the model SLDA plus regress. We can see that even though the model is quite simple, it is a very competitive method. In this paper, we talk about several buffer replacement strategies. In general, we find that storing more diverse images is helpful. Results are similar for VOC dataset as well. Here we additionally compare with a state-of-the-art model from ICCB 2017, which uses distillation, and as we can see, RODEO beats that model as well. Another feature of RODEO is that RODEO is quite fast to train. RODEO trains in only 22 hours compared to 873 hours for the offline model on the COCO dataset. That is, it's 40 times faster to train. So to conclude, streaming learning is an important paradigm and allows model to learn from evolving or changing data. RODEO is a novel streaming object detection model that uses tensor quantization to efficiently store hidden representations for replay. RODEO outperforms existing incremental batch detection models and also establishes strong streaming baselines. RODEO achieves strong performance on two large-scale object detection datasets, VOC and COCO. With that, I would also like to thank my co-authors, Tyler Hayes and Christopher Kanan, and also our sponsors. Finally, I would also like to mention that the code for the project will be released publicly in GitHub, and also you can read the current version of the paper in archive in the given link. I would also like to thank you for attending my presentation and would be happy to answer any questions during the poster session. Thank you.